Hi, my name is Catherine McBride, and this is my school approach video for EDEC 301. Growing up, I went to a private Episcopalian school in my hometown, and for middle school and high school, I went to a public school also in my hometown. And so for my project, I chose the private Montessori approach method to education. I think that the Montessori school is something that is really interesting, um, just in the way that they teach the students and that the whole class is basically meant for the students, and that it is something that within the classroom the students become super independent and they grow as students. I think in some ways the Montessori school method could be similar to the educational curriculum that I received at my private Episcopalian primary school. I like the idea of a Montessori school because I think that it really is aimed for the development of the child. And within these first couple years of life, it is super important that our children are getting the skills that they need for future primary grades and for future schooling and just for life in general. And I think that the Montessori school approach is really, really awesome and that it is super beneficial to the child. And so that's why I chose that method. I also think that it is super interesting that it was started by a woman. The Montessori school method was invented and expanded by Dr. Maria Montessori, who was an Italian physician and educator. Dr. Maria Montessori was alive from 1870 to 1952, and in her time, she did a lot for the education system in Europe and also in America. And she is the icon for the Montessori school. And I think she did an awesome job in the development of her approach and whatnot. She opened up her first classroom in 1907 in Rome. It was very small. It was in an abandoned building in her town. And this is where she had her first classroom. She had her first students, and this is where the method kind of began to take off in other parts of the world. And by 1912, it was a new approach to education in the United States, and a lot of people were interested by it and wanted to send their kids to Montessori school and wanted to see really what it was about and how the education of a Montessori school was different than the regular private schools, the regular public schools, and all the other schools that people had in America at the time. I think that in my ideal kindergarten for my child, the development of my child and the children around them is the most important factor in the primary school. And because in kindergarten, we learn so many basic things that we use throughout life, like reading and writing and spelling words and writing our names and using scissors and coloring inside the lines and playing well with others, and also learning how to respect others and respect our teachers, because ultimately our teachers are the ones that are in charge while our children are in school. I think in the ideal kindergarten world, it is important that children learn respect for others, and that bullying is not okay and name calling is not okay, and for everyone to play nice on the playground and play nice during center time and whatnot. And I think that it's also really important that by the time that the child is done in primary school and that they're moving on to the next step in life, that they're really well-rounded, and that they didn't just make their way through school just to get done, that they actually learned something, and that they developed, and that they understand what to do and what not to do, and they know the basic skills that are going to get them through life, and that they're going to get them through their next adventure in the education system. Like I previously stated, for this project I chose to do the Montessori education approach because I think that is super beneficial to the child and also to the parent, because their child is learning a lot at school and is learning how to be independent and whatnot. And I think that my hypothetical child would learn a lot about being independent and not relying on others. And I think that the way the classroom is set up and that the goals of the school and whatnot, I think are really awesome and are super great for the child. The whole idea behind the Montessori school approach is that the child is getting firsthand experience in the school and they're not stuck in the classroom reading textbooks and reading handouts and listening to a teacher write on the chalkboard all day, and they're not being lectured, that they're actually playing in centers and playing with each other and learning through doing. I think that's the whole goal of the school, is learning through doing, and that education is supposed to be something that is fun and that is exciting and that the children are really going to benefit from it in the long run. Like I said, I think the whole point of the school is about experience and that it's a learner-centered environment. The children are actively engaged and working independently, but they're also learning how to play with others and how to ask for help when needed and mostly be independent and not rely on others, but also know how to work well with others when they need. Another thing that is awesome with the Montessori school approach is that the core subjects such as math, science, English, social studies, arts, etc. are learned through hands-on activities instead of reading through textbooks and listening to teachers lecture. This way that the children can really get a hands-on grasp of the activity or the subject at hand. For example, they often use counting blocks to learn addition and subtraction and other math elements and whatnot. Also, because these children are doing hands-on activities and that there's often blocks and coloring books and other things that the children use to learn, that the children are getting the knowledge of how to clean up after themselves without being told and told how to clean up. And this way, if they start learning at a young age that after you do something you need to clean up, that they will take this skill into the next part of their life. One of the main goals for the Montessori school is that there's supposed to be a love for learning and that the excellence is in the education, and that children, through doing this different approach to education, learn to love education instead of sitting in a classroom and being bored or not wanting to learn. And at the end of the day, this is really important for the rest of their educational journey. Something that is different about a Montessori school classroom versus a regular classroom in primary school is that the classes are of mixed ages, meaning that there could be 3, 4, 5-year-olds together or 6, 7, 8-year-olds together and whatnot. Because of these mixed ages in a classroom, these children are learning to interact with children that are younger than them or that are older than them, and they're getting really awesome peer life skills. I think this is really important for development. Children are also given the option about what they want to do for playtime. By being able to choose what they want to do, a child isn't being forced into something that he or she does not want to do, and this way the learning experience and the playtime experience is enjoyable for the child. Students are kind of forced to be independent in these classrooms. Sometimes they're not given direct instruction, but sometimes they have to be able to figure out what to do on their own without asking for a teacher's help, or they learn to work out the problem that they have. And everything in the classroom is at a student level. So nothing that the child would need for learning or playtime is out of reach to them. I think that this shows that objects in the classroom are meant for the student, and the children is meant to explore and learn and use objects and whatnot for playtime and instruction time. I also think that this shows that nothing is forbidden from them, and that obviously things such as scissors and staplers and things that the child wouldn't need that could be of harm to them are obviously out of reach. And I think that because this classroom is set up in a way that is student driven, it is really, really beneficial to the student. I hope y'all enjoyed my video about the Montessori school approach, and I cannot wait to see your comments in the discussion board. Bye!